It's time for Living with Victory, a program of hope and encouragement brought to you by Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Now here's your host, President of Compassion for Kids, Tony Giorgio, with today's message of perseverance.
Welcome to Living with Victory. I'm your host, Tony Giorgio, proving life isn't about waiting for the storms to pass. It's about learning to dance in the rain. We call it perseverance around here. You can email us at livingwithvictory@gmail.com. That's livingwithvictory@gmail.com. Later on, have a paper and pencil ready, and I'll give you additional information on how to get to us. Also, real quick, our partner is the Journey Christian newspaper. It is a free monthly print and online publication if you don't have it in your area. And it offers Christian perspective news, Christian events, and encouraging articles. I encourage you to visit at www.journeychristiannews.com. And the Journey Christian newspaper is always encouraging Christians on their walk with Christ. And without further hesitation, I want to say hi to my my wonderful co-host, coming close to 45 years of my soulmate here, Laureen, who'll have the scripture of the day.
Hi, it's so nice to have you joining us today and out to be with you. For those who may have been with us last week, you may remember what we covered was, what does love look like? And that was 1 Corinthians 13, 4 through 7. We're going to continue that with verses 6 and 7 this week. Just to go back and give a little reminder, the verses said, number 4, verse 4, love endures long and is patient and kind. Love never is envious, nor boils over with jealousy, is not boastful or vainglorious, does not display itself haughtily. Verse 5, it is not conceited, arrogant, and inflated with pride. It is not rude and does not act unbecomingly. Love, God's love in us, does not insist on its own rights or its own way, for it is not self-seeking. It is not touchy or fretful or resentful. It takes no account of the evil done to it. It pays no attention to suffered wrong. Verse 6, it does not rejoice at injustice and unrighteousness, but rejoices when right and truth prevail. Love bears up under anything and everything that comes, is ever ready to believe the best of every person. Its hopes are fadeless under all circumstances. It endures everything without weakening. So we're going to discuss that. And what I would like to say right now is go through the explanations from the commentary of Matthew, the Matthew Henry's Commentary, Volume 1. Under verse 6, it says, it wishes ill to none. Much less will it make this the matter of its delight or rejoice in doing harm and mischief. The sins of others stir all its compassion, but can give it no entertainment. It rejoices in the truth. It gives much satisfaction to see truth and justice prevail among men and mutual faith and trust established. And for verse 7, where love bears up under anything and everything that comes, it explains, it beareth all things, it endureth all things, covers all things. It is not for publishing the faults of a brother, though such a man be free to tell his brother his faults in private. He is very unwilling to expose him by making them public. Thus we do by our own faults, and thus love would teach us to do by the faults of others. It also says, believeth all things, hopeth all things. Indeed, love does by no means destroy prudence. Wisdom may dwell with love, and love be cautious, but it is apt to believe well of all. All love is apt to make the best of everything. It will judge well and believe well. When in spite of inclination it cannot believe well of others, it will yet hope well. How lovely a mind is that which is focused on God with such benevolence. Happy the man who has the heavenly fire glowing in his heart.
I guess I learned the hard way, and I'll give you the opposite of what Laureen just said. Just to show you what not to do, I might say. In my early years, as you may or may not know, I was far from a true Christian with a true heart. I grew up on the streets, the gangs, the whole ball of wax, the black leather jacket, okay? We always had this total feeling that if somebody did wrong or if somebody was against us in any way, shape, or form, we always had to seek revenge. I remember one example of getting revenge, which was, it was funny at the time, but wow, not a good thing. The police, God bless them, they knew us real well, and if anything ever happened, it was always, where were you? What did you do? We had that type of reputation, unfortunately. One day, something happened, and everybody came around, and there was one sergeant in the police force that nobody liked. We used to call it, God, I don't remember what we called him, but it was Moonface, I think, or something. Big boy. And he was always out after us, and he was always grumbling at us and yelling at us, and we were standing there watching this whole thing, and here comes old Sergeant Moonface, I'll say. He pulls up. Moonface was an endearing term that even his fellow police officers called him, so we're not being hateful here. He got out to investigate. He was on the scene, and his police car sat there, and there were a lot of police cars. And my friends decided that we're going to do something right in front of his nose that he's not going to live down. My friend, one of them who really would take on any challenge whatsoever, we were a little different. When you're younger, you jump off high buildings thinking you're going to fly. Amongst all of this going on with the police, with crowd of people and all, he walked over to this sergeant's police car, got in it, and literally drove it around the block, parked it, left it there, and then walked back, waiting for the poor man to come out and not find his police car. Well, that's exactly what happened. He walked out, he wants to get in his police car, but it's not there. You could see him getting visibly upset, and you could see the crowd starting to snicker. And we got our joy out of this because he was so frustrated. And of course, there we were across the street just looking as pious as could be. We wouldn't do a thing. We were sitting there, and he knew right away. I mean, he couldn't prove it, the poor man. They have an expression, if looks could kill, we'd be gone. This poor man, I mean, it took him forever until they got in their squad cars and searched the area, but of course, we were gone by then. This is something that if you have the love that Laureen's talking about, you do not do. And this is something that I had to learn. The love and the compassion was not there. And we didn't know these people personally, these other kids, these other groups. I'm showing you, if this is what's in the mind, this is not right.
It's also what's in the heart, because what's in the heart does come out.
We were taken advantage of a lot of times. People don't do that, If you're good to them, that doesn't mean they're going to be good to you. That's not the way it works. This isn't a perfect world. You have to live up to your belief. And no matter what comes, you don't react the same way. You don't get in a boat with them because you'll sink. You stay on the shore and let them drift. Here we are with people who annoy me or do things to me, and then I have to pay the price. I would go around, if I'd see them or pass their place of business, I would literally curse them. Not in a way where you use profanity, but I'd curse them to hell. I'd wish that their tongues would fall out, that they'd get run over by a cow, whatever. I couldn't contain that anger, I guess, or that love. Took me a long time until I realized, hey, what good is it doing me? Every time I passed this one establishment that took me to the cleaners when I thought they were my friends, we won't go there, I would just sneer. And even my nephew, when he writing it, will you get over it, Uncle Tony? What's the matter with you? He ain't bothering you. And to me, he did enough to me that every time but it was hurting me. The anxiety that built up every time I passed there and thinking about it wasn't good. Would ruin my moment, would ruin my day. It's not something that you really want to do. That's not the way. And it has taken me. And I'm not talking about when I was a kid. This is in the recent few years that I've had a lot of stuff come against me. I've had to learn, hey man, that's stupid. That's not right. And so I've changed that, and I feel a lot better when I come in contact with the people, with the situation, or think about it. I don't damn them to hell anymore. God will do that. I don't have to worry about it. If they continue and they don't change their ways, we all know what's going to happen.
That's why God says pray for your enemies and those who hurt you, because it helps you, first of all, to find your peace. But it also helps them to pray for them, because when you come up on a higher level, I think if you really think about it and you get past the pain or whatever they may have done to you, nobody wants to see anybody for eternity roasting in hell. I mean...
Roasting, did you say?
Roasting in hell.
Oh, well, okay.
I mean, that's
Ouch.
The way I feel about it. But anyway, it's God's mercy. And whatever measure of mercy you decide to deal out, that's the measure that will come back to you. And I found that even if people do cheat you, you may not get the right thing from the person who cheated you, but God will make sure you get it back maybe from someone else.
Let's say, as we're coming to the finish here, we've lost houses, we've lost jewelry, we've lost money, we keep... So what? We're dancing in the rain, we live for Jesus Christ, and we persevere. You got to remember that. Survival is persevering in the Lord Jesus Christ and using Him as your umbrella. So don't forget that. Love, don't hate. It'll do you a lot better, for sure. Now, I said to you, I'd give you some more information. So we've got a few minutes left here if you have a paper and pencil. And I want to let you know that you can contact us if you like. Again, livingwithvictory@gmail.com. And you can go to our website, which is livingwithvictory.org, and listen to previous shows if you want. Send us a comment. And remember, if you want to write us at Post Office Box 1982 in Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751, you're welcome to, or send a donation. We're supported by listeners like you. And for now, this is Tony Giorgio
and Laureen
saying you guys have a great week. God bless you, and remember, you keep dancing in the rain because God is your umbrella. Take care.
You've been listening to Living with Victory with your host, motivational and inspirational speaker Tony Giorgio. Support for Living with Victory comes from Friends of Compassion and listeners like you. Your tax-deductible donations can be sent to Compassion for Kids, P.O. Box 1982, Maggie Valley, North Carolina, 28751. Tony is also available to speak to your group or organization. You can call him at 828-926-4600. Join us again next week at this time for another uplifting story of dancing in the rain.
Jesus is with me when the storm clouds gather. He's standing by my side.